in all seriousness, I want to open up the show with, so I had an experience. We haven't talked about it on this show. I
Right.
had an experience in the summer. One of my best friends. We surf every Saturday and Sunday. I live on a lake and something called wake surfing. You could video it if look it up on YouTube if you don't know what wake surfing is. It's basically a wake surfing boat produces a wave and you surf without holding on to anything. It's
Yeah.
awesome. It's
Pretty
one of the best
awesome.
sports ever.
Right.
But anyway, so we have a group of four of us, and one of the guys who was young, we're all relatively, I mean, we're older, but relatively young still. Great shape, just one of the greatest guys I know. But anyway, we had a great morning. And after, on the boat ride home, he started feeling a little something in his chest, and we all thought it was gas and nothing. And anyway, net, I'm not going to go into the whole entire story, but he passed away that morning. And it was obviously a very sad event. I think about him every day. But it got me thinking, and this is why I wanted to open up with it, that, uh, try to do things that you love, because we were doing something that we loved, and he died doing something he loved, which is great. But he decided to, every Saturday and Sunday morning do something that he loved, and that was a decision that he made. He could have been doing something else that he wasn't loving at that moment and would have died just the same.
Right.
So, there's a thing. Jim Carrey gives a speech often about how his dad chose the safe route for a profession. And he was an accountant,
Yep.
CPA, and he lost his job like when he was like 55 or maybe even younger, and he never really recovered. And Jim Carrey always says his father was hilarious, like
Yeah.
funnier than Jim Carrey, and could have been what Jim Carrey was. And Jim Carrey was like, you know what? That lesson, and this is where I'm getting to my friend. The lesson is you could fail at something taking the safe route just as easy as you could doing, going for it. So you may as well go for it. And you may as well do things that you
Right.
love, spend time with people that you love, because there's a Stoic saying that at any moment you can leave this life. And
Right.
I saw it firsthand. I mean, we were belly laughing, having the greatest morning ever. He surfed, he did great. We used a new board. He was talking about plans that he had. He just started a new job, moved his daughter into her dorm room, and
Yeah.
he drops dead. And so that's the opening statement. I don't mean to, I mean, it's meant to make you feel better, not to make you feel
No, I mean, there's a
better.
lot of lessons to be learned in stories like that, and I'm so sorry to hear that again. I know he just seemed like
Yeah,
a great guy.
he
I didn't
was.
know him, but he was such a good spirit. Had great energy. Even I could even feel that over social media. You know, how
Yeah,
some people you can feel that energy.
absolutely. He
Um,
used to like every one of our posts.
yeah. But y'all, it also for me, I start thinking because I'm older than you, and I feel young, but we're at that age where
Absolutely.
you do need to be proactive and do certain things to prepare for that or for death or bad things. And my wife and I were talking about it too. It's like, because our doctors around here, they kind of get you in and out.
Mm.
I just feel like I don't feel like they really care. They kind of like read the chart, do this. I mean, and
That's not just unique to where you live, but go ahead.
it's bad. It's
Yeah.
just bad. The healthcare system now, I'm not a fan of.
Yes.
So my what I'm saying is you have to be proactive and ask second and third level
Mm.
questions and demand maybe a calcium
Yes.
test or like a
Yes.
life screening test, things that doctors kind of shy away from for one reason or another, mostly because they're too busy. And you have to do those things. And you told me a story about another friend after this happened. He went and got a test done and you finished that
Yeah, so
story.
you mentioned it just now, and I'm glad you did, because I wasn't thinking it. But my friend who passed away had a physical and had a clean bill of health. You know, but there is a test called a calcium scan, and you
Yeah.
basically go in. I have to get one. And your doctor, if your cholesterol is low and there's no red flags, your doctor's going to tell you don't need it. don't listen to your doctor. It's not
Right.
covered under insurance. It's only 100. It's between, I've heard varying costs depending upon where you live.
150 tops.
It's
Yeah.
anywhere from 100 to 150 bucks,
Yeah.
not covered by insurance. I've heard of stories, personal friends of mine who were in perfect condition, marathon runners, go hiking all the time, clean bill of health. They go get a calcium scan, and because of that scan, needed an emergency bypass or needed a stent.
Yeah.
Most people were fine, but there were two, possibly three stories, two guys that I know that, no, three stories. The sister of my buddy, who was older, I don't know if I told you this, but because of my buddy passing away, she went to get the calcium scan and now has to get emergency bypass surgery. So obviously it was
Wow.
hereditary.
Yeah.
But anyway, the calcium scan, you ask, there's usually a center. It's usually not through where you go get your blood work or whatever. It's some other, where I don't know if it's a radiology center.
It's like a life screening campus or some, probably.
There's
Yeah.
offices,
Yeah.
like there's an
Yeah.
office about
Yeah.
20 minutes away that does these. But anyway, a calcium scan.
Yeah.
And if it's a certain level, that indicates that they investigate further. And trust me, it could save your life. So
Right. Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, it's on my list.
yeah, me
And
too.
I put it on my list because of this story, of
Yeah.
this, yeah, again, doctors around here, these kind of get you in and out, and I'm not a fan of that. So,
It happened to me yesterday with the
yeah.
dermatologist. I swear, the
Yeah,
guy didn't even
it's
look at me.
like,
He's like, "You're good." I'm like, "You sure?
yeah,
What about
yeah,
this?"
yeah.
And
You
he's like,
gotta
"Nah."
here.
I'm like,
Should we send the
anyway,
invoice? Should we email or send you the invoice? No.
well,
Okay.
they're like, "Yeah, your copay went up." I'm like,
Yeah. Right.
anyway,